So this is my humanitarian efforts for Haiti. You can go to the next slide. This is not only my mission, but the men and women that I'm with there. This is all of our mission. We've sat down, we've kind of strategically went through everything. I'm just going to kind of give a brief. But our mission is to spread the word of Jesus, to show them what Jesus' love is, to teach construction, build Haiti infrastructure, teach English to the Haitians, specifically the children, because right now they're basically landlocked. The more opportunities we give them, the more opportunities they will have outside of Haiti. And one of them is if they can speak English, they can have, potentially opportunities here and in other native English-speaking countries. And then show Haitians who Jesus was and why he would help them. I'm doing, my part in that would basically be, I'm not only showing them the word or teaching the word, I'm showing them first, and I'm showing them compassion and love when they have felt ostracized, they have felt outcasted, they feel that the rest of the world doesn't care about them. So I'm coming in and showing them this compassion and that there are people who genuinely care, and through that we can reach eventually where they will accept the word of Christ and then help. The last one is, through my efforts, there you go, bring Haitians to Christ. But we have to do it kind of, especially in war-stricken, gang-stricken areas like this, we need to do it pertaining to psychology, and we can't just throw our religion at them because we're going to get a lot of back push. So I'm not throwing it, I'm showing them, and through my showings and my compassions and me risking myself and the others, then people have come to me and questioned, basically, why are you doing this? And then that's when I can explain to them, I'm doing this because God has told me to, because I'm doing this to show Christ's love, because I don't have to be there. Introduction. So again, I'm working with two companies. They are both Christian-based. Like I said, if anyone has questions afterwards, please come to me individual level. We can absolutely communicate. I'll go into depth with whatever you feel comfortable with. One is a for-profit. So one of my main goals is I'm their operations manager. So I need to get this company actually making a profit. Right now, the deficit's, tens of millions. So we need to eventually get it to where they're profitable. We might not ever get up to those millions, but at least we can get some sort of profit, so then the Haitians are making their own money, so then they can be self-sustaining. Because that's our ultimate goal, is to have them self-sustaining and building their own infrastructure. We're giving the adults and some of the older children opportunities to learn trades like welding, automotive, electrical, plumbing, and concrete. I oversee all of this, and I kind of make the curriculum. And then with the companies, we are protecting children while giving them a safe environment, schooling, and opportunities. The gangs will try to take children, specifically ages, the youngest is potentially 8, but they're shooting more for 12, 15, that era. So we want to give them opportunities and a safe haven so they can prosper, so they have the same opportunities that we've had here in America. This Bible quote, I think, fits well with what I'm doing over there. And it's Matthew 5:16, and it says, "In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." And that's kind of going with my role of why I'm doing this. I want to show them who a true Christian is. Our belief, and this is on one of the company websites, actually, these beliefs that we have done. One of the companies originally started actually was in 2011 during the earthquakes, so their main focus point was construction, building, but when the gangs overtook in 2017-18, then that's when they kind of went obsolete and no more productivity. So that's when we've came in recently over the past, month and a half, 2 months ago. But our belief is our love for and service to Jesus Christ is at the center of all we do. We value actions above words. You can say anything, but what are your actions pure? We proclaim the love of Christ through our actions and deeds and through our call to love and care for all people in all situations. Haitians really feel, again, they feel no one cares for them. that the world has abandoned them, that they've been struck with violence, poverty, greed, and they feel that genuinely no one sincerely cares about them. They just use words saying they do. So that's one of our main goals, is to go there and literally show them we do care. We're here with y'all. And I was right there with the lowest of the Haitians you can think of. I was right there with you, communicating with them. Of course, I am learning Creole as well. I did have an interpreter with me the entirety of the time, but it's to show them, I'm not afraid to be in y'all's environment because Christ is protecting me, but I'm also coming to y'all's environment so we can help increase and better y'all's infrastructure, whether it's, everything. We serve God by serving his children physically, emotionally, and spiritually, specifically through education, training, and economic development. So that is our ultimate goal. We want to educate these people so then they can better their own economy and infrastructure. We follow Jesus' lead and a preference for those most disadvantaged. So that's why we're emphasizing on the orphans. Not necessarily widows yet, but we are emphasizing on the orphans, but we want widows and all children, and we strive to use our gifts and talents for their benefits. I think all of us in here, we have our own gifts, especially pertaining to spiritual gifts. Mine are, some might not agree with this, but mine are wisdom, knowledge, and mercy. And I just feel God has chosen me to do this because I have, I guess you'd say, the courage or the guts to go out there and put myself in these situations to help. So our approach, we teach and train people to rebuild their own communities. We believe dignity and self-respect can be instilled and restored. We want to help communities build permanent homes, churches, and schools using local labor, readily available local materials. So it really is pertaining to think about America and having to start us from the ground up. We're showing them religion, infrastructure, anything pertaining to economics. We need to teach. It's starting everything from the ground up. And then, again, this international earthquake and hurricane building standards, this was kind of derived from the first companies, the Prophet Company, for when they first initially came here in 2011. And they had 3 compounds, and they were mass producing concrete tilt-up walls, and then they were able to take these to different locations so they could have shelters, churches, like we're stating here, homes. But what happened was, with the gangs overtake, those compounds were taken, and then the Americans were forced to evacuate, and then since then there's been kind of a turmoil. So our steps: first, we have to obtain security compound. That's getting our perimeters safe, making sure that they actually have a safe place to be, a safe haven for the training and teaching, while having the consistent security. You can have it safe for a week, but we need it for longevity. We need it safe for years to come. So we need to teach them these security protocols. Second, we need to implement programs and curriculum to teach Haitians proper and professional workmanship, and that comes from everything: policing, security, jobs, literally anything you can think of we have here in America. Theirs is almost a broken system. We have to fill in the pieces. So third, we have the construction teams build. So after we hit the first and second step, then we can actually, which is a step I'm in now, is teaching the construction and showing them how to pour the concrete. We're running electrical wires, conduit, stuff like that. And it's have the construction teams build and sell various parts of the infrastructure, especially the tilt-up concrete walls. And that's kind of pertaining to our own company monetary gain. We don't want to be dependent on donations. We don't want the Haitians to be dependent on donations, and we're getting government funds. We don't want, because those eventually run out. If you can be self-sustaining, then they can actually create their own environment, their own economic growth, and then that in the long run will be more beneficial than us just giving them money and resources. And we've seen this time and time again with other companies, where they go into Haiti, they say they're going to do all this, and then all of a sudden, $20 million has been misallocated, missing, and it's pertaining to human tendencies, their greed. So we're trying to kind of keep our money at a minimum and use what we can. Of course, we are grateful, but we want to get them where they're productive, where they are a productive piece of their society, so then they can create their own environment and then increase their own infrastructure. So I'm literally helping, and I will get in there. I'll get frustrated when they do something wrong, try to correct it, but my main goal is to sit, observe, and just same thing with these PowerPoints for electrical, concrete, anything you can think of. I go through the PowerPoints, we talk about it, I have an interpreter explain it to them, and then we implement it. We try it out, see what happens. Of course, first few times they make mistakes, but we all do. That's just what it is. And fourth, continue this process. So once we get the first three established, we can now continue this process of the safety, security, teaching, obtaining jobs, and selling our products, which then means we can expand in Haiti, which then helps all of the Haitians. Why these steps? Donations and government grants will only last so long. We need the Haitians to build back their country and to improve their own way of life. We can only do this by creating the basic necessities for them and then training, teaching them all aspects of a sustaining country. This includes the policing, the securities, city and rural infrastructure, trash infrastructure, schooling, colleges, and et cetera. Again, it's imagine America collapsed. There's now 50 years in the future. There's new generations. They don't know how to live like how we have been living. They're not accustomed to our morals, our values. They're kind of lost, and they're trying to figure out what to do. So they need someone who is willing to guide them. The interconnected fundamental pillars of a sustainable country are their economic prosperity, the environmental protection, and their social well-being. So we need to emphasize on all three of these so we can grow them as a nation and have them hopefully eventually be a global part of global interactions. This allows Haiti to have a great chance of growth and understanding while also supplying our team with a monetary gain so we can continuously implement and grow our teachings in Haiti without reliance on donated and the governmental funds. And then this also gives it, our main goal is to start making money so then people like me don't even have to be there. We want the Haitians to control it, and we're in a technology advanced world now. I can be here, I do meetings all the time with the Haitians. If I could stay here and do Zoom meetings, that is our ultimate goal, where me and the others can be in America and they can come to us with questions, but they're high functioning and able to do what we've been teaching them in Haiti. And it's just gonna take time, it's gonna take practice. We have a lot going on this next year. We have a secured compound now. We have another area that we're looking at because both companies are, basically both have been dispersed because of the gangs, and they kind of unionized, came together so we could get one spot for both to start, which is the orphanage and then the company, the construction company. And the construction company is going to eventually leave this to the orphanage as part of the contract. The orphanage keeps everything we're building here, the schools, and then the construction company is going to go to their own area where they can start doing business. Through these steps, we can show them Jesus, his love, and help bring many deprived individuals to the Lord with pure actions and kept promises. I can't tell you how many people there, the ending weeks, the first several weeks, the first week was difficult. After that, it became more where we were able to get everything organized. And I would say the last week I was there, numerous people would come up to me and they would just randomly ask me, why are you doing this? What is your faith? And that was my opportunity to explain to them that, well, I'm Christian. I'm doing this because God told me to, that Jesus hung out with sinners, so I can hang out with sinners. I'm no better than anyone. This is another good Bible verse that I feel fits this. It's Timothy 4:16. Pay close attention to yourself and to your teachings. Persevere in these things, for in doing this, you will save both yourself and your hearers. I think that's important. We just have to, again, understand the psychology of these people, how they're raised, the fundamentals of their social environment as well as their economic environment. And then once we understand that, that's when we can start helping bring them closer to the Lord, help save them. But I think the first steps is to show them true compassion and that we're willing to sacrifice our time, money, potentially lives to help them. So here's life in Haiti. Life in Haiti is characterized by extreme poverty, deep political instability, pervasive gang violence, and frequent natural disasters, creating a daily struggle for survival, food, and basic services for most citizens. They do have a huge social gap where you're either extremely poor or it's the craziest thing in Haiti where you'll see this is about average right here, this picture, but then in that same area behind these buildings would be mansions behind big barbed wire fenced off areas. And you would never guess these people can come out, they'll be walking with the other citizens, but the socioeconomic difference is extreme there. There is no middle class. You're either this poor or you're a doctor or a lawyer. There is no in between. So this produces so the country faces immense challenges, including the crumbling infrastructure, high unemployment, and a breakdown of security forcing many to flee, but there's nowhere to flee. This island is about 10,000 square miles. If you're looking at San Juan County, I think that's Farmington, San Juan, that's about 5,500 square miles. So it's two of those counties, the whole country. So it's extreme. I could ride a four-wheeler. I was driving a truck. There's no laws there, so they just drive crazy. So I was more comfortable on motorcycle or four-wheeler. And I could go off into the woods if necessary, something bad happens. Trucks are so big, you can only do so much. So my main form of transportation was on a four-wheeler. So imagine you're in downtown Durango, or these are cities, but collapses cities. So imagine Denver, someone's riding a four-wheeler down the highway, But there's no laws, so you can kind of just do whatever you want. But that was my comfort zone, was to be able to be on that. So if we had to leave a situation. So this is me getting my teeth worked on. This is the dentist that we brought into the compound. And this compound has a lot of pre-existing buildings, a lot of pre-existing guard stations and fencing. We had to come in, specifically I had to come in, get the Haitian workers, and we just had to repair and rebuild this compound so we could make it safe so more gangs and stuff wouldn't try to come in. And what I've noticed with the people of Haiti, putting their religion aside, putting their circumstances aside, most of them are loving. I can't tell you how many of them, most of their homes, they'll have concrete walls. They don't even have roofs, and it rains almost every day. So they're taking their linens, anything you could think of, clothing, everything. They might have a dresser, but they'll take them outside and they throw them on their plants so they can dry for that day, so then at night that they can sleep. But the average one there doesn't even have a roof on their house in at least this area. There's different parts, Port-au-Prince, Cape Haitian. I was more in a rural area. It's called Limenon. And it's just extreme poverty, and they really do feel abandoned. But they have been so kind. Can you just imagine someone who is struggling to feed himself, but then he sees me and he brings me eggs. He's bringing me a piece of a chicken because he sees what I'm working, what I'm doing there. So then he's giving me compassion and then giving me this. That to me was so amazing, knowing this man might skip a meal or two or days of eating, but he's still willing to help me. And I'm being paid to be there. So to me, that was amazing. And that's why we'll see some pictures later why I took a lot of them to castles. I took them to a beach. These people live 5 miles away from a beach. They've never even been swimming at the beach because they're so worried about everything else in their life. They've never been to the Citadel, which is the French castle that was there. And it's because, again, they're so worried about what's going on in their life. They don't get these luxuries and opportunities that we get here constantly in America. We take it for advantage. Their food is a Creole blend, emphasizing on rice, plantains, beans, goat, beef, pork, and seafood, rich in flavors and textures. Not as spicy as you would think either. A lot of it was pretty good. I will have pictures of food on here, which is some of the luxury food I did. I literally was eating every day rice and either chicken or something else in it. I don't even know. I just know one time there was a cow nose, but you get so hungry, you know, I just devoured the nose. You could see the texture on his nose. You could see everything, and I ate it. Cow tongue, I ate everything. The liver, anything you can think of. That's because not only do I want to indulge in their culture, I want them to understand I'm not better than you. If this is what you're eating, this is what I'm going to eat. And I would at times we would get our rations, and I would trade my rations, which would be fuller or better. A lot of times they would give me more to someone else who I felt would need it, and then I would take theirs. And it's mostly out of respect for these people. I want them to know I'm not there to just use them or try to take advantage of them. I want them to truly know I care. They speak a very unique language, only spoken in Haiti. It's called Haitian Creole. Cultures from all around the world have come to this island and through the years integrated together into what we now know as Haitian culture. So we're talking French, Spanish, Portuguese, some English. Now they're kind of getting more westernized. But their language is so unique. To me, it's still so interesting. This here is actually a picture of our south side of the compound, and you can see the guard station, and this is what was already present there. We just had to add chain link, barbed wire, and razor wire to this. You can see as the big gate, you know, it's a gate there for a reason, and it's to sadly keep people out. The devastations of the gangs in Haiti has been detrimental. The gangs are the predominant and main governing bodies within Haiti. They were formed after us. The USA came in about 2017 and through 2021 to dismantle their government. This ironically made the government so weak that it gave the gangs opportunities, and when they got the opportunities, they literally overthrew the government and have been flourishing since. The Haitian government was corrupt and incentivized through greed. The issue is they were not actively harming the citizens. The governments might have been stealing from the citizens might have been living in poverty, but they weren't going out and doing mass shootings. They weren't going out and physically hurting the citizens. They were just using them, taking advantage of them. Now that the gangs are active, not only are they living in poverty and laundering the money from the citizens, but they're physically harming the citizens as well. If you're going to speak out against them, if you're going to try to, you know, act whatever the situation is, the gangs will actively seek for you, and that's why my pictures I won't show until the end of their faces, and that's because with who I work for, they know that they could, their main goal with us would be to kidnap, and that's so they can kidnap you, get a ransom, and get the money. And the catch is some of the Haitians have been kidnapped, and we have paid ransoms to get them back, but we want to try to mitigate that as much as possible. First, you know, they're abused. One of them, he was, they kidnapped him and he was gone for 7 days. So 7 days he had, there is a language barrier, but from when I was getting out of it, very little water, almost no food. They would hit him, poke him, test him, and then sadly, we were able to get him back with just $25,000. That's what, for them, for a life, $25,000 was enough for us to give them and then to get him back. So just think about that aspect of how poor and desperate these people are. So all of that has decreased the quality of life in Haiti drastically is what it's done, which was already poor in the first place. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Haiti themselves, but it's already a poor area. They're already suffering, so once the government finally collapsed and the gangs took over, at least the government's had some sort of structure. The gangs don't care, and there's not just one big gang. It's not a monopoly. There's, you know, hundreds of little small gangs. One gang could have 4 people, but those 4 people have weapons, and then they're terrorizing hundreds of people. So what I have experienced with gangs firsthand, they're mostly comprised of children. So imagine that, a 12-year-old running around with the weapon, 18 years old, Some of the older members will be in their 20s and 30s, but they're usually you could consider like a lieutenant. They're kind of watching over the younger ones. Again, think about this. They are children who are misguided, tricked, and used. And I have spoken with these. You'll see pictures at the end of some of the children who are active in the gangs, and I'm with them. I have spoke with the members firsthand, and they just want a healthy country with opportunities. A lot of these kids feel that they have been pushed into the gangs because they don't have anywhere else to do. These kids are walking from 2 years old miles to get water from wells to take back to their houses. So they're working. They don't ever actually even have a childhood. And then imagine a 12-year-old, but he's got 4 younger siblings, a mom, the father's not there. So he feels obligated to be the man of the house, and he's taking all of this pressure onto himself. They'll go to the gangs because that will give them ultimately money, so then he can actually buy necessities like toothbrushes, get an actual physical roof over their head. So it's just sad to see that, because a lot of them are genuinely good people. They just have been, it's like a dog, been pushed into a corner. You know, some are going to cower down, some are going to bark and fight back, and a lot of these gang members are the ones who would bark and fight back. They feel there's no other options. They've been pushed into a corner. They feel trapped, so they want to take advantage of their situation. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I do understand where they're coming from, and again, that's where I show compassion. They need guidance. They're children. They need guidance and love. This is part of our mission. Save and convert as many of these children as we can. It's just going to take time. So again, ask yourself, Timothy 5:8, but if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So that can kind of pertain to these children. I'm not saying they're necessarily Christians or even of Catholic faith, but it still all means the same. What would you do? You know, the question I ask is, what would you do to provide for your family? What if your child hasn't ate in 3 days? You know, they're malnutrition. They can barely open their eyes. What would you do? I know what I would do. What if you didn't have a roof over your head, or you were uncertain of the next time you will eat? What if you were afraid of a family member passing away because of lack of health care or malnutrition? You know, it's a question we should all ask, because a lot of us think we might do something, but until you're actually put into those situations, that's when you find out who is true and who's really about it. This is a house. This is housing that is behind the compound. On the back side of this picture is where we were installing fencing. And this house is just to show y'all kind of how close it is to the orphanage, and that's what they're living in. They're just concrete structures with walls. That's about it. Living with goats, chickens, whatever, so they can eat. I'm not being paid by the orphanage. The orphanage is me mostly volunteering my time during my operations during the day and after. So I actually focus on the children mostly at night. We have even in the compound, there's a curfew at 9. But from about 6 to 9, I can actually physically be with these children and teach these children. The catch is, there's days when I don't show up because something's happened. I'm sad, and I don't want the children to see me like that. I want them to see me bright-faced. I want them to see me energetic. So the days that I feel happy like this, everything went according to plan that day, those are the days I really tend to interact with the children. One thing is, like, to get loyalty there, it's insane. Those kids have never even seen a Coca-Cola. They haven't even seen candy. So I bought packs of Cokes, and I bought candy while I was there with my own money, and just to give those to those kids and watch them light up and bond with me over a simple sucker. You know, most kids, you give a sucker here, and they, okay, cool, thanks, bye. That's it. They're so appreciative because no one else has done this for them. And then they get to try this Coca-Cola that they hear about in these westernized areas. Oh, everyone has this here. Everyone has this there. Well, we want that too. So I just want them to have that understanding that with a good man around you, you can have those opportunities as well. My objective at the orphanage is to nurture, love, and teach these children English. That's my number one goal. I want them to learn English and because I can even tell you with my company, the ones who can speak even a few words of English, they're already top priority for us using them because none of us speak Creole. Like I will at the end speak some Creole. I am learning it out of respect for their culture, but it is a very odd language, so it takes practice. Okay, I'm looking for a concrete finisher. So I don't know if anybody knows anyone who can. So I'm more of the overseer. You know, I can't do everything. I'm not perfect. None of us are. But I'm very good with my hands. And when it comes to carpentry, and I can do concrete, but I cannot show what I consider that professional stance for concrete finishing. So we're really looking for someone to do that because the sooner, obviously we're still going to be in production, but the sooner we can get quality work out, the sooner we can actually start selling this product to other companies. And we're still going to pour because a lot of our walls are just going to, the perimeter of these compounds are going to be concrete walls. And right now, like this one, we have chain links. We ran, miles of chain links. It's a 20-acre compound. So we have chain links and then barbed wire and then razor wire wrapped around the barbed wire up top. That's kind of just standard procedure. But our ultimate goal is to, what we've already poured while I was there, we poured, we poured 6 slabs and 12 tilt-up panels. So the slabs are for the schools. So now, while I've been gone, they've been doing masonry work with cinder blocks, building the walls. So now they have more school housing. And then the tilt-up walls are actually functional to where it's basically a concrete slab that you can pick up with a crane, put on trucks, and move. So that allows us to now set those in places to actually build the perimeter around this 20-acre compound, which makes it more secure because they will go through a fence, they will ram that fence with a vehicle, it doesn't matter. They get desperate. But I'm truly wanting a concrete finisher. They would stay there, so please, if anyone knows, just ask. We will pay them for their time. They're looking at 1 to 2 weeks. You're going to have 24-hour security. I obviously would leave the compound and go do other things. This person doesn't have to do any of that. They can stay in the compound, eat free food, do all of that. I would say to incentivize them, myself and others will go with them to the castles, to the beaches. I've been around the world, they have the most, and it's crazy, in this inner city, it's filth. The beaches are just littered with everything. The worst you can see, there will be a corpse in the water. It's sad. But you drive 5 miles up, the beaches are the prettiest, cleanest water you'll ever get in. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been to a beach. You get in the water, you get out, you have that sticky feeling. This is the only ocean I've ever been in where I felt cleaner. I went in, got out, felt cleaner than before. And a lot of them, like I said, they don't even go to these spots because it's mostly jungle, 5 miles out, whatever. They're so accustomed to being in these cities. But again, with the concrete finisher, I'm really wanting someone to come. Our ultimate goal is to teach them, and I can't teach them without help. I can only do so much. So I'm looking for a professional concrete finisher who can come to Haiti and teach his skills to men eager. I own 3 companies here, and the men that I have worked for me around here, their work ethics, I struggle to find people who have good work ethics. These men there understand their situation, and they are some of the most bright-eyed, eager people to learn because they literally understand that they can go from struggling every day to physically providing for their families, and that's their ultimate goal. They just want to feed their families. Again, in return for that person's time, I'll take you to a castle, some amazing beaches. If you have the guts, I can take you to town markets and nightlife. I became one of their citizens. They called me, I think there might be a slide about this, but they called me Blonde Babouche, which stands for foreigner with red beard. So they didn't even know my name. They just knew a man with red hair was there. So when they see me on the streets, they would literally come point to me. Kids would run up to me, and they would be pointing, Blonde Babouche, Babouche. And it's just because most of them just have never even seen a white person. So it's just it's so unique to them. And then to know that we're there, we have at the orphanage, we have 36 kids that are inside the orphanage safe. And then we have another 90 who are coming from the intercities, so we can teach them as well. And for whatever reason, that word just spread like wildfire, just spread all around. And I was the only white person there. You'll see one picture where it's me, and it's going to be like the CEO, the president, and then board members and stuff like that. They were there 3 days. You know, they were there after stuff was stable. They came, checked everything out, they left. I was the literal only white person. The rest were all from Mexico, with only one of them actually speaking English. And I can only speak a little Spanish. So even with my main guys, I'm like, what the heck? I don't know what's going on. So it can be overwhelming. But my experience in Haiti was great. I'm going back again, probably about 2 weeks. They obviously want me back right now. I have some unfinished business I need to do here first, so they can have my full focus. I have formed lifelong relationships with humans from a totally different culture and life. I have been blessed with people I now call my brothers and sisters. I have spread my faith and showed others what a follower of Jesus will sacrifice to save others. Again, Jesus hung out with the sinners, and that's my whole life. I've been popular in college, whatever, that's cool, even high school, but I also always hung out with the rejects, the ones no one ever wanted to hang out with, and that was just my belief. I wanted them to know that someone cared, and that's kind of transpired now that I'm more grown into going to Haiti. I traveled to the Citadel, the Sans Souci Palace, and to 2 beautiful beaches. I've experienced true Haitian culture in the streets of Lebanon, watching soccer and basketball. Soccer is like, it's crazy to say that, but soccer is like their god there. Like, they worship soccer. It's insane. I've ate their street foods. I've had them on the streets, and these people are poor, trying to survive. Them literally bringing me food just to show their generosity. To me, that still, just thinking about it, baffles me that these people are willing to do that. I've rode on 4-wheelers in the middle of nowhere with gorgeous scenery around me. There you go. The locals call me Blonde Bob Wooge. I walk the streets, and the locals pointing and screaming at me, Blonde Bob Wooge. The reasoning, they have heard of my presence or have never even seen a white man. This slide is for donations. On our airplane, I'm able to bring various things. Like, one of these donations is going to show knives. It should be on there. The guys I'm with, we're all saddled up with machetes, but we need knives. It's hard to get pocket knives. We need Gatorade and electrolyte powders. I brought a box of Gatorade powders, and because it's hot. And I'm from Texas, I can do the heat, but man, that humidity and stuff there will kick your butt. And I'm out there with them working, showing, so we're hot. So I actually don't drink the Gatorade powders because it dyes in them, but they don't care. So I just gave out all of the Gatorade powder, so that's something that they really could use there. They're accustomed to water. They don't get anything else. Like I said, when I bought the Coca-Colas, they were amazed to even see the Coca-Cola, to drink it, how it tasted. And there's a language barrier, but you could see it with their facial expressions. We need cleats. I don't know if anybody knows where to get cleats. Toys without batteries. I've tried looking there, but I couldn't find anywhere that actually would supply batteries. So we just need toys without batteries. Books that translate English to Creole, and they do have them because one of the gentlemen named Michael who came with me, he brought a tote full of books, and these books you would read it in English, and then they would have the Creole translation, but like kid picture books, you know. But it was so simple to where it helps those kids actually learn English, and it helps me as I'm teaching them. I'm learning Creole. Work boots. A lot of my guys, one of them I gave a pair of work boots that I had personally, and the other one, their shoes are so worn, I just bought a roll of duct tape so he could keep going. Wrapped his shoes in duct tape. It's all we could do at the time. So work boots would be good. Hats. I never really personally asked them about hats, but fair skin, they're not fair skin. I was always wearing a big fishing hat, brimmed hat, and then bug spray as well. I used a lot of bug spray there. They get so used to it where they don't use a bug spray, but part of that I think is because they can't afford the bug spray. You know, food's first, bug sprays last. So they don't even get the opportunity to have that bug spray. And then balls and pumps for the kids. We're talking about basketball, football, soccer balls. All of this I will bring with me. We'll just have them deflated, and then we need pumps to air them back up. We have 2 babies. One of them is still in the hospital. She's been in the hospital now for about a month and a half. She became septic at, she became septic at about 6 days, and she's now about, she's 2 months old, 2 months and a week old. The woman gave birth to her and just threw her. They have like a communal toilet. So I don't know if y'all have been camping, the toilets you go to out in the forest. That's kind of what it is. But just imagine, extremely unsanitary. The poor child was just discarded in the toilet. Bucket was put down in the toilet so we could bring her up. The other baby is 6 months old. She's healthy. So we need diapers and bottles for her. That's the youngest child we have there so far is a 6 month old. The 2 month old, we're really trying to get her healthy enough to where she can come into the compound. And then old iPhones as well. With the services that we're using there, if I could get donated iPhones, that would help tremendously for me to stay in contact because we have our main guys who will have phones and I can communicate with them, and we do Zoom meetings. But all of the physical workers there, which is about, 12 of them, if I could get them phones as well, then I could actually keep up with them. I can stay in touch with them, and it's just going to help progress where we can move faster. Our ultimate goal is to build another compound and then keep spreading. And then money. If anyone feels obligated to donate money, you have my word in the house of the Lord that I will use that money for good. Money to me is simpler to go with because I have it on my physical body. The toys and stuff, when I put in bags, especially when you go through here, there's really not too much of an issue. When you go to Haiti, they'll take stuff out of your bags that they feel they need themselves. But money would be good because then I could buy so much food. Clothing there is weird. Y'all are going to see pictures soon, and they're dressed in nicer clothes than most of us. But it's because it's all free. From what I got from the interpretation of it, because there is a language barrier, that they're basically getting ships in from Miami, and they have this thing that's similar to Goodwill there, these massive warehouses that are distributing the clothes to the citizens, but it's free. Goodwill charges. Goodwill's a whole nother story. But the clothes they're distributing are pretty free, and they, like I said, you'll see them with nice clothes, and the first thing one of you might say is, well, why is his shirt so nice? That should not be your takeoff for this. Because at the very end, you're going to see a video, and that video is going to be their average living environment. That should be your takeoff from this. So this quote, Psalms 23:4, is actually, I don't know if some of y'all see me at the pool. I have a lot of tattoos. I know some can judge me for that. That's fine. Do what you need to do. But I have a lot. I got this tattooed on me about 10 years ago. And I obviously did it because I truly believe in it. And that's why I can go there so fearlessly, honestly. I truly believe this. And it's, even though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Like I said, I've had that on me for 10 plus years, probably 12 years. I don't know, I'm getting older. I'm going to speak some Creole, and that's kind of to show y'all I'm truly, we're going deep into this. Like, I'm not only trying to, they were making jokes at the end that I'm already half Haitian, because I was speaking Creole so well over the past month, or 6 weeks I was there. But to me, it's really a respect thing. I can't go to these people and try to bring them to Jesus, and I don't even respect them enough to learn their language. You know, they don't know what I'm saying. I'm using an interpreter, so I'm saying something and that person's saying it back. So I need to be able to speak to them personally. So it's moi content en pile pou, moi là avec ou, merci pour tan ou, t'en prie, aidez-moi, aidez Haïtien, which is I am happy to be here with you. Thank you for your time, and please help me help Haitians.